Welcome back, internets, as we rejoin back into Arms Trade Tycoon tanks in its having a look at its early access. And when we last left off, our company Rolling Thunder Incorporated was building for its first contract. We've got 9 of the 50 tanks completed. We need to deliver 20 to Britain. We are researching bolts in our research facility, 14 days away from that, 14 days away from finishing our 20 Mark 1 Mark 1s, which we're going to send off to England, and we're 11 days away from having a look at it in our proving grounds to get rid of its defects. So in this episode we are going to be editing the video a bit. In the last video we just sort of did a straight gameplay video where it might have gone a little slowly for some of you, considering that we were just doing each thing as it comes. This time, because the first 2 years is much like the beta that we did a series on before, we'll try and hurry things along a little bit to get to the more interesting facets of the game, where we can capture some enemy tanks, get some new tanks researched. And so I'll just be recording and stopping at the points of interest rather than recording the whole thing. So without further ado, we'll move forward a little bit in time and get the ball rolling. So our goods have arrived from America, so we shall order more. Should use the shortcut buttons. Let's tank delivery, goods ordering. So we shall order from Africa, I think. It's the cheapest place. Takes the longest, but it is the cheapest, and we do have 100 tons of goods in reserve. And we'll order enough for 9 more tanks. Get that on order, and we will advance. Let's get the proving grounds finished, and we will throw money to up the prestige of our tank and to reduce the faults, although we don't get rid of them altogether. We move from a -5 to crew awareness to -3 there, and we just go through and throw money at the issues to try and reduce them as much as possible. So that's our Mark 1. Mark 1 as fixed as it can be. And we will start to research with the completion of bolted assembly. Start to research the medium hull, and we will re-engineer ourselves some new sponsons. And once the hull research for the Whippet is finished, we can remake the Mark 1 hull, because we'll have more ammunition and fuel to put on our tank. So we'll hold off on that, but we will make a female sponson with steel, bolted assembly, turret door Mark 2, turret hatch Mark 2. That'll take 5 days. We'll get the engineers working on that. And I think our next tank, we might try a hermaphrodite tank with a female sponson and a male sponson, so it's got good soft attack and good hard attack. At some stage we'll probably want to upgrade our machine guns as well. And we've finished production of our tanks, and we will now... Oh, we've got a late delivery from Africa, so that's an extra 2 weeks on the delivery time. And we will ship our tanks off. We've got 20 in stock. It's due on the 26th of the 11th, so we've got 12 days to get them out. We might send them by Smith Services, because that's got a higher level of safety, 9-day delivery, and we will deliver on time. So, oh, that's the delivery date. The due date is 8th of December. So we might actually go to the medium, save ourselves a bit of money. We could go low, and we would still make that in time, even if they are late. And Is there anything cheaper? That's the cheapest one we can go with. So we'll give that a whirl. We'll try that out. Send off our tanks. And we will come back once the delivery is finished. And so we've finished our first contract there. We've finished designing the male and female sponson. So we now have over $1 million in the bank, which is handy. We've got 13 days on the whippet hull, so we will be hanging around and waiting for that to finish. And the opposition keeps on developing tanks. And we continue to get news updates, which are more historical, although this isn't a historical setting this time, so how pertinent that is anyone's guess. But basically saying we can use tanks to destroy machine gun nests. And our research on the whippet hull is finished. So now we are going to need... So we've got an engine, we just need tracks for the whippet. So we'll begin to research that. And we could invest in bending. Could help build whippets. So we might, in our effort to get our factory as advanced as possible, we might look at the bending hall. That'll cost 20,000. We definitely can afford it right now. It's going to cost 3,500 a month to maintain, but we will build that, and we'll have to try and figure out how to unlock tier 2 somewhere along the way. Not sure if that's going to be a technology or if that's going to be time based. It isn't clear yet in the game what we need. And with the hulls finished, we need to engineer a medium whippet hull. We'll be making that out of steel bolts. We've got no communication devices. We'll put some extra fuel on it. We'll put some extra ammo on it. So ammo for machine guns, storage for fuel, which will increase the range significantly. Although this all adds weight, we want to be careful not to add too much weight. We're going to leave the wheels off it to try and save some weight. And so that'll be 9 days. We will start researching and developing that, and once it's finished we should be able to put together an experimental whippet, because or once we get the running gear developed as well, and that'll be done in 9 days. So we'll pop back once they come up. So we shall switch the research now. So we've got the basics for a whippet. I think we might want to improve the firepower on our tanks. So we probably want all three here. We want better machine guns, better HE rounds, and tracer ammunitions should help with our machine gun fire and our soft attack. So we'll start with the cheapest and work our way up. So we'll start researching the Hotchkiss 1909. That'll take 9 days. Pop across to engineering, and we shall develop the tracks for the whippet. So we want to be careful of weight here, so we'll go with the Idler Mark III. Mud chutes is quite good for speed and the maintainability of the running gear. Sprockets are quite light. Sprung rollers are quite light, and track inserts are very heavy. So I think we're just going to try a bit of an experimental build here, because I had trouble with the whippet in the beta. I'm going to try and make the tracks as light as possible. So I mean that'll save us 500 kilos on the tank. So we'll call this the LW revision, lightweight tracks. So we will develop those. That'll be 6 days, and we can also look at developing a heavier set of tracks as well and see if there's any difference in the performance on the training field. So we will assign that, and we will be ready to design our new tank in 6 days. So we'll just quickly move forward the time, and we'll go to the design hole, and we should be able to put together our first medium tank. Did I not? Yeah, there we go. So we'll put in the Taylor Twin 4-cylinder. I wonder if we could also make a lightweight engine, although that might be better with if we can get hold of a French or a German engine. They tend to be quite small compared to the British engines, so we might want to wait. We'll put on the whippet tracks. We have no turret, and we'll put on 4 loose machine guns, and it's going to be very cramped space inside the turret there. They used to they used to drive around with the back door open and just hang out on the back of the tank, apparently. So the story goes. They used to just sit on the back there with the door open, and then as soon as contact was made, they'd jump in the cab and close it. So we will need a gunner and a mechanic, and we're going to have some malices to the crew performance there because it's very crowded. But we do need a commander, we do need a driver, we need a gunner, and we need a mechanic, otherwise the tank won't work. So hopefully the Hornet will be bigger and we can fit more crew inside, or we can find some way of reducing. We could reduce the amount of guns, but we've only got 1 gunner, and we're going to need a gunner for any gun, so that's not going to save us much space. We'll have to find another way around it. We'll put some desert camo in this. Hopefully we'll be able to use this tank in Africa. That's going to take 17 days for our 30 staff to develop, so we shall get to work on that straight away. And we're 3 days away from continuing the research, so we'll just quickly do that. Pop into the research. I should remember the shortcuts by this stage on this. So we'll pop out some tracer munitions. So I think once this whippet is done, we'll use this as a prototype, and then we'll probably design another one to use the improved machine guns. We'll start engineering the Mark 1 upgrade. So our volume limit increases as I have pressed the wrong button there. As we switch over to bolts, we get an extra 5% of volume, and we shall fill that up with ammo and petrol. So the weight of the Mark 1 is getting heavier and heavier. We'll leave the tail wheels on the Mark 1, so we'll call that chassis the Mark 1 Mark 2, and that'll take 12 days to build, so we'll assign that, and then we can start looking at making another upgrade to our standard tank, the Mark 1 Mark 1, and try and come up with a new naming convention at any rate. Okay, so we'll order some. Oh, we've got 120 tons of supplies. I think we can hold off ordering supplies for now, and we'll come back in a moment. So we've received our second contract from the British Empire. So they're going to want another 20 tanks for 2nd Battalion. We're looking at the Vanguard tank again, so our Mark 1 will fit the bill for that. We'll have a look at the contract offer. Now, we could hold off on making an offer and wait till the Mark II chassis is ready and then design another tank, but that'll take about a month, which will make it very fine. We've got a month to put the application in, so I think we'll see if we can get away with the Mark 1 again. We're against the Hector, so we should be successful. Well, we should be able to make the Mark 1 successful. Yeah, easily. We've got a good score with that. We'll be able to jack up the price a bit. And as you can see, we come in a good 5 ton underweight, and we are green across the board. So the question is, how long? This is one area the game probably needs improving. How long is it going to make 20 tanks? So if I hold off applying and we begin an assembly job, we've got plenty of materials. So if I was to make 30 tanks, how long is it going to take? And it still doesn't tell me. Oh, 40 days. So we can do that. As long as we don't have a fire, we should be able to make this contract. So we're going to take a calculated risk that there's not going to be a fire. And that'll give us 30 tanks, which we should be able to extend the contract out to, so we can make a ton of money. So we'll get started on that straight away. We'll go back to the contract center. Pull it up. We will make you 30 tanks. We will offer the Mark 1, and we'll try and get about 40,000 for it. Oh, we'll get more. 42,000 leaves us plenty of room for error. I mean, if we're playing the mogul, because it's in green, we should be able to get 43. And 9th of the 3rd, we should be able to make that with time to spare. That is 3 months away, and it's only going to take 2 months to build. So that's fine with us. And I just reset the whole thing. So that was 43,000 for the Mark 1. 30 tanks, 9th the 3rd. We're good with that. We should win that contract. So I think the difficulty of the game moving through early access, one of the big problems is the contract foreknowledge. We know what the opposition is doing. We know what we have to beat. So it's just a matter of manipulating the siders, and would never lose a contract unless we don't have a tank that can compete at all in a role. Then we can win every single contract. So hopefully they work on that over the early access period. And so with that, we shall see if we win the contract, which I'm sure we will. It will surprise me one day and we won't win the contract, but research came up. We will continue with the improved cannon rounds. Start that. How is engineering going? We're still working on the Mark II. 5 more days on the Whippet. And we should be ordering in a bunch more goods. Oh, I keep on pressing the wrong buttons here. There we go. 3rd time lucky. We will go to Africa again. Order enough for another 9 tanks. And that'll take just under 3 weeks with a chance of a delay again. So we'll be back when the Whippet's ready, I think. The Mark II Mark 1 chassis was completed, so now we're going to upgrade our machine gun. And we've got the magazine Mark 4 here. We're going to switch over to a belt-fed machine gun. So that should be quick. 2 days to develop the new Hotchkiss Mark II, which will go in our second design of the Whippet, which is just about finished, 2 days away. So we will test drive that as soon as possible. We did win the second contract. We still need to make 24 more tanks for that. go to the proving grounds and get the Whippet ready to have its errors fixed, and we'll take it for a test drive and see if we can get it around the course. So I never got a Whippet around the course in the beta because I always got stuck on the second trench. So with the lighter tracks, we'll see if we can get it through the course. It's definitely feeling fairly speedy off the mark, across the trench without too many problems. Well, hopefully without too many problems. We should be able to get past the trenches, I hope. It's definitely feels lighter. It feels like it's moving and slipping and sliding around a lot more. And it feels far more responsive off the mark than the larger Mark 1 tank. Hey, hit the target on the run. And I said that my aiming was terrible. And we'll cut the corner there. No problem getting up on the slope. So everything is looking good for the Whippet so far. Looking like an excellent little tank. I do wish we had more ammunition. I mean, we've got extra ammunition in the chassis. We've got 4 machine guns and we've still only got 500 rounds. Just over 100 rounds per machine gun? Don't know about that. Don't know how effective that's going to be in a combat situation, but I guess this is just on the testing grounds. They probably thought if you can't knock over the targets with 500 rounds, you don't deserve to pass. Makes easy job of that little chicane there. I cannot... I eventually hit the armoured car. So the troublesome area will be coming up, the second trench, after I take care of these targets. Spraying the machine gun does feel quite nice, I must say. To me, this test driving is rather secondary in the game. I much prefer the Tycoon part of the game, but I must say it is growing on me. It is growing on me. I am enjoying driving my tanks around and seeing how they handle. I wish there was a bit more of a difference in speed, but I guess back in the day, back in World War I, every tank was slow. So we are going to hopefully not fail here. So this could come down to weight. Oh no. No. No, I'm failed again. Maybe there's some... Maybe I need to reduce the amount of guns on it to complete this. I don't have enough of a run up to get enough speed to get up here now. Oh, no. Definitely not. I mean, it's the same engine as the Mark 1 and it's hauling about half the weight, so must be the tracks. Must be just the Whippet tracks. But I have seen people on YouTube get up this hill with this pretty much exact same tank. Maybe up this side here. Come on little Whippet. Come on. No. Okay. Well, I'll try a bit longer, but it may be a not happy experience. So if I cut away, it means I have... I think I'm just going to give up at this stage. Yes. We will not complete the course. We will not get our bonus on deployment for the Whippet. We will keep it as a prototype, however. Can I rename it in here? We won't call it the medium Whippet Mark 1. Yes, we will, because it's still in testing. We can't rename it. So there's a few idiosyncrasies like that that are still in the game that will get ironed out over time in the early access, I'm guessing. So that is bitterly disappointing. My Whippet still can't make it round the course. So I shall see if I can redesign a lighter. What if I design it out of wrought iron? I'll leave the ammo storage in. I won't put in any fuel. So we'll call this the medium Whippet lightweight. And we'll save on some mass there. And we'll design that over 8 days. And we're 10 days away on some research. We'll get the 37 or the 47mm gun, sorry, the 3-pounder gun, and then make another version of the Mark 1 tank, I believe. So we will continue on. So we've got an update of what's happening in the world, and it looks like Ottoman Empire and Greece have gone to war. So the diplomatic side of things is definitely different from the beta. We don't have a war between Britain and Norway. There's no war between Germany and Netherlands yet. This is the initial war. We've got no tanks in the war, so it's of a little interest to us. So that won't affect our operations at all. So we are stuck again in the test drive. So I put together a very lightweight Whippet where it's made out of iron instead of steel. It's not carrying extra fuel. It's not carrying a full complement of weapons or anything like that. I've shed as much weight as I possibly can, and it still cannot get out of this trench. So this is unfortunate. I cannot complete the obstacle course with a Whippet. This is not good for my design prowess. And the contract 2 for Britain is finished. We are now swimming in cash. We've got 1.68 million. We've still got the loan from the bank. Alright, so we took it for 5 years, which was a bit unfortunate. We're only 2 months into our repayment, and we need to repay 614,000 of it. Oh, I might wait until our cash is above 2 million and repay that. I think that would be the smart way to go about it, and we will keep on getting peppered with messages. There is also no delete all option. Oh, British Empire and Belgium. I got to the stage where I wasn't even reading the messages because they all were not of interest to me. So we've got Britain, and our tanks are in action then. So, oh, we've already had a battle and I missed it. That's terrible. That's terrible that I've just been clicking through because I didn't bother reading it. So 1st Battalion, which is 20 of our Mark 1 Mark 1s. We'll have a look at the outcome of the combat. So we gained fame for the Mark 1 tank here. So that should mean that we can sell it for more when other countries come looking. The tank's performance is outstanding across all fronts, proved to be the key to our triumph, delivering unmatched mobility, devastating firepower and unwavering resilience. So deployment, oh, statistically it did very well. Transportability did great. Exemplary performance during deployment. The battlefield showcased the true British mettle as it manoeuvred with unmatched agility and speed. I get the feeling that this officer is blowing smoke up my ass at this stage. The tank's remarkable mobility. I can't believe that our pig of a tank, the Mark 1, which barely gets around the course. It has remarkable mobility, and it's the very essence of British prowess on the field. But yeah, I mean, it did well in everything except crew communications and operating range, which the operating range has been solved by the fact that the Mark II chassis that we've developed, we've yet to put into production, has extra fuel on it. We haven't yet got a communication device for the tank, so that will continue like that. These buttons are still not doing anything up here in the. So, but we can't think of a better place to use the tanks. There's on the plains, on the roads. I mean, towns tanks aren't great, but it's a low intensity battle, so there's not going to be a large concentration of fire, and but we are pummeling the artillery of Belgium, which doesn't seem to have anything saying what weapons it has equipped. So let's have a look. Our Hotchkiss 6-pounders have proven to be accurate, and I mean the primary weapon maintenance or reliability isn't that great, but that'll go up if we use 3-pounders, and we've already improved our machine guns, and so our current machine guns have fairly low range, which is true. Our Hotchkiss machine guns improve our range, and our secondary weapon maintenance isn't great either, but apart from that, it's scoring very well. Better than artillery in this combat. We had no problems hitting them. The Belgian artillery missed our tanks, which we're very happy about, considering their low mobility, and they'll probably pop pretty easily under artillery fire. They did historically. So crew aiming's not crash hot, but apart from that, we're green across the board, and we managed to hit, and we managed to dodge. So what? We don't know what our dodging score was. Ah, yeah, so that's agility and our structure, road speed, everything sort of comes into it. Cross-country speed, stealth, crew awareness. So we did very well in the combat there. None of our weapons ricocheted. The tank's deadly rounds struck the enemy targets true without a hint of ricochet. We didn't penetrate with the machine gun on the... So we need AP ammo to take care of that, I think. The kinetic penetration wasn't good enough. Shock penetration, not good enough. Spoil penetration, not good enough. Even though artillery pieces wouldn't have great armor, it doesn't look like these machine guns, the Lewis machine gun, is good enough for anything bar infantry or hopefully cavalry. Hopefully we can penetrate cavalry, but I wouldn't want to see it against other tanks or armoured cars. So we did a degree of damage. We wounded 10 of their guns and destroyed 6 of their guns outright, and they did repair some of the guns, but they had 24 at the beginning of the combat. What did they have at the end? They've only got 14 left, so they lost close to half. Well, yeah, just above half. Though just under half, sorry, third time lucky, of their artillery pieces against our tanks, and this combat we'll see how our tanks go against infantry. So that will be interesting. I will remember to read the messages I'm getting on or when that combat the Battle of Nagaro, which is only less than a week into being fought, but should resolve itself pretty soon. More from Africa, our cheapest place to order. We'll see how much one set of is enough to make 24 of our medium weapons, so that's interesting to know. We want to sell the lightest tanks possible. Hopefully with our Mark 1 Mark 1s now blooded in combat, they will get other countries wanting to buy the Odin Os A. I wonder if that's a A7V. This battle's been running for 3 weeks now. Oh, and no researchers. Have I forgotten once? The petrol got researched and I never picked up the... So we will start researching the medium Hornet. As one of my commenters said, we are coddled enough, and I have failed once again on having some research running at all times. So that is pretty terrible. I probably should have done some done the AP ammo before doing the whippet design. And the British have come knocking again for vanguard tanks again for 3rd Battalion, another 20. So hopefully we can get more money with our... We'll see if... No, still going. That combat. I wonder if it'll be worth much money to wait for that combat to finish. So our competition again is the Hector. We will bring the Mark 1 up at... I wonder if the Bilby... No, that's a terrible score for a vanguard tank, the Bilby. So the Mark 1 is still top of the range. Our success score, has it gone up? I cannot remember. If I would need to go back in the video to check that. So if I sell 30 of them at 43,000, which is pretty much what we sold them last time at that price, that gets us across the line. Yep. So we shall make that offer again, and we will see what we can design. Oh, we need to engineer the 37mm gun. That's what else I forgot to do. I'm forgetting to do a lot of things here. So yep, this will be a lot lighter than our current gun, so that should make for a better performing tank if we put the Hotchkiss 3-pounder. That'll take 8 days. So we will quickly design that, and then we will start developing a 47mm tank. Contract number 3 has been accepted. We will start producing 30 Mark 1 tanks. The Mark 1 doesn't use bending focus at all. I've built a bending focus building, so maybe that is costing me money without. That'll take just over a month to build those 30 tanks. Again, cross our fingers and hope we don't get a fire, because that will put problems in the works, and we will order more goods from Africa to replace those that we are using in building 30 tanks. So that should take about 3 or 4 orders to replace. 3 or 4 months worth of orders that'll be from Africa, and we shall design our new tank. So we will be designing the Mark 1 and Mark 2, which is going to be our better protected steel tank with the same engine. Shall we make a hermaphrodite tank, or shall we make... I think we might, just to see what it's like. So we'll put a 3-pounder. This is very much a anti-infantry rather than an anti-tank vehicle. We will need a commander, we will need a driver, we will need how many gunners? 2 gunners. Two gunners, a mechanic, and a mechanic loader, so that's a lot less people in the actual tank. We're down to 6 members now from 9 that was in our initial tank. So we only have the single malice on crew performance. AP, HE Mark 1. I don't understand why would want it that way, but more ammo, good ammo, I guess. So with tracer, standard ammo, and with our better petrol. So we are now... Put some camo on it. Take a look at it. So with a very small 47mm. So we will call this the Mark 1 Infantry Fighting Vehicle 47mm variant. I prefer that rather than the 3-pounder, which refers to the weight of the shell that they fire. 3-pound shell. It's got a 47mm bore width on it, that cannon. So that'll take 33 days to develop, and we will assign that. We'll put that under a... it basically is, even though it's got the same track and same engine, it basically is a new tank, because we've got the Mark II chassis, we've got the female sponson, and we've got a smaller gun. So I won't do a clone. I wonder if a clone would... We'll throw some money at the... Oh, we haven't done that at the training ground yet. Well, we've got plenty of money, so I'm not sure if we'll ever sell the Bilby, but we'll get it tested, that's for sure. I'm sure that somebody will want a lighter tank with just machine guns. We will continue developing there. And back out, 33 days to develop that. We're still developing the Hornet frame, so we shall get our lads on developing that. So this is our last contract with the Mark 1. We'll try on our next contracts to sell them the Mark 1 47mm infantry fighting hermaphrodite tank. So big news, the rival tank has been captured by the British government. The Fenrir Os A has been captured, so if we go to the world map we should be able to buy that tank and begin reverse engineering it. So asset with key, oh no, please check it. We'll send them that error. Oh no, I cannot. So early access, I guess. We cannot buy the trophy tank Fenrir Os A from the British government. It looks like a LK2 tank that was built by the Germans with a Hotchkiss 6-pounder gun and the Daimler engine. So I would dearly love to be able to get my hands on that tank. That would really help my light tank development. I really hope I don't have to go back to a save game because of that. That would be very annoying. Very annoying indeed. So we've got an error in the early access at this stage, and we shall have to have a look at that. So I think with that error we will leave off here. That is unfortunate that we have got ourselves stuck. And it looks like it's trying to self-correct itself there, but it can't find the asset for that tank. And so we cannot buy it. That is annoying. So we might have to replay this episode off camera to get back to 1915 when the first tank is captured. Doesn't look like we can do much in the game to decide on what sort of tanks get captured, but it looks like the German LK2 is being captured, and that looks like it would have the Krupp turret on it, and it's got the German machine guns. It's got a Hotchkiss 6-pounder that the Germans have picked up, I'm assuming, off us as a they would be buying that off the British government as a weapon type and putting it on their version of the LK2, and we'd dearly love to get our hands on that, but there is an error in the game, so we will go back and replay to see if a different sort of tank can get captured. But my last save is actually the beginning of this episode, so we will we'll replay that for tomorrow's episode and continue going with hopefully something we can capture. Yeah, and the British government here just keeps on seeming to be getting these tanks that there is no actual version of in the game, and it's having trouble creating it with the attribute sum off the scale there. So it's fine making the tank parts and with the man hour cost and with the part cost of it, but it's not creating the cost okay at the moment. But that's early access for you. That's this is not the early access that'll be heading to Steam. Hopefully this sort of thing gets sorted out before the release on February 6th. But with this press build that we've got, this is something that will happen. So I will go back and replay what I've done so far today for tomorrow's episode and take off from there. But for now, that's all we have at Crash Test Gaming, and we will come back with another episode tomorrow, hopefully with this all fixed up, because I'd dearly love to develop the LK2 tank and make some. I think the best part of the game is making tanks that didn't exist historically with a mix between British and German parts. So we will finish up for today's episode with that error, and I will replay it. So see you later, guys. Please, if you enjoyed the video and if you're enjoying this series of a sneak peek of the early access before release, please throw in a like, subscribe to see more episodes. I'm quite enjoying making these videos. I'd like to continue to do so. So subscriptions give me encouragement to do that, and it also will help the videos get out there so more people see it. So hopefully the early access will be a success when it hits Steam later in February. So take care, guys, and enjoy your viewing. See you later. Bye.